learners, welcome to this online session. Today we'll be talking about the daily food guide and balanced diet. This is part of the certificate program in food and nutrition, course 2, your food and its utilization, block 1, unit 3. I am Deeksha Kapoor from Discipline of Nutritional Sciences, Indira Gandhi National Open University. So learners, by now we hope you are very well acquainted to the concept of nutrients. What are the various nutrients required by the body? What are their functions, their food sources, and their nutrient requirements across the age groups? Now, next you will be required to translate these nutrient needs into kind and amount of food that you will select to be included in the diet for ensuring a balanced diet for all individuals. And the practical method devised to help food selection to ensure balanced diet is the focus of this session. So, at the end of this presentation, you will have a better understanding of basic food composition and its uses in daily food guide, the food groups and their nutritional contribution in our diet, the concept of balanced diet and the daily food guide, and how will you use the daily food guide in planning balanced diets. So let's begin by refreshing our knowledge about balanced diets. We've already learnt earlier that a balanced diet is one which contains different types of food in such quantity and proportion that the need for all nutrients like calories, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins are adequately met, and a small provision is made for extra nutrients to withstand short duration of leanness. Well, if we look at this definition carefully, there are three aspects which are highlighted for a balanced diet. First, it should consist of different types of food items. Second, it should meet the need for all nutrients. And third, there should be a safety margin. It should provide for period of leanness when the diet may possibly not supply adequate amount of all nutrients. With this understanding, next, how do you ensure a balanced diet then? We also know that our body needs energy to perform various activities, and the body gets this energy from carbohydrates, fats and oils. We know that the body gets the bodybuilding material from proteins available in the different foods, and we know that the body gets the protective substances from vitamin and minerals present in the food. So, to be able to get a balanced diet, we need to provide for energy, bodybuilding material, and the protective substances like vitamins and minerals. Now, with this basic understanding, the next step is to decide on the amount of food items to be included in the diet. We know what to include, but how much of each of these foods to be included is the major question. Obviously, we will include food in the amount that would help meet the needs. So, how do we go about it? Do we start calculating the calories, proteins, vitamin, mineral which are being provided by each and every food we have included in the diet? Well, that can be quite cumbersome, quite extensive, in fact impossible in practice, both in terms of time, and also you would require those arithmetic skills that 100 grams of say some green leafy vegetable provides X amount, so how much will 30 grams provide if I am eating that? So it can be quite cumbersome. So what do we do? To overcome this, experts have translated the nutritional needs in terms of kind and amount of food that we eat, so as to guide us in food selection, so as to ensure a balanced intake. And this practical method devised is termed as the Daily Food Guide. So the Daily Food Guide is a practical method which will help us in food selection to ensure a balanced diet. And the best way to select the right kind of food for each meal is by using food groups. And you already know that food group consists of a number of food items which share common characteristics. Well, usually what we do, we classify foods on the basis of their use or function in the body and the major nutrient they provide, as you have already seen earlier. So, based on the functions the food perform and the nutrient which are present in them, we tend to classify foods into 3 different groups, or the 3 food group classification which we commonly use, and it is called the 3 food group classification based on function. The first group is the energy giving food group, and you've just learned that the energy giving food groups, they provide carbohydrates or fats, and the food items included in these are cereals and millets, roots and tubers, sugar, jaggery, honey, and fats and oils. So what are we doing? We are classifying foods into groups based on their functions. We know that cereals, roots and tubers provide carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are the major body fuel in the body. Fats and oils are the concentrated sources of energy in the body. So we tend to club these foods together under the energy giving food groups. The second group is the bodybuilding food group, and we know that under this, the nutrient which is responsible, which helps in bodybuilding, in growth, in maintenance, is protein. Therefore, all the foods which are rich sources of protein like milk, pulses, meat, fish, poultry, egg get clubbed under the bodybuilding food group. And the third is the protective regulatory food group, and the main nutrient provided by all the foods included in this group are vitamin and minerals. Green leafy vegetables, other vegetables, fruits, they are rich sources of vitamin and minerals which protect us. Therefore, what we are doing? We are classifying different kind of foods based on the function they perform into different categories. Now, when we group together similar food items so that each supply a constant amount of particular nutrient. So this grouping is not arbitrary. It is based on that similar food items will supply a constant amount of a particular nutrient, maybe carbohydrate, protein, fat. So when we group them together, we call it a food category or a food exchange. For example, if we take the energy giving food group, under that one food category or exchange is of cereals and millets. And what are the food items included within that? Wheat, rice, jowar, bajra, any cereal gets included. Why they have been clubbed together? Because you would see that they supply a constant amount of a particular nutrient, basically carbohydrate. Cereals provide us carbohydrate. So if you were to look at the nutritive value of cereal, you would notice that whether it is wheat, rice, bajra, jowar, maize, corn, any of these, roughly approximately a 30-gram amount of any of this cereal will provide you 20 grams of carbohydrate. And we know that carbohydrates provide us energy. So what we are doing? We are grouping different foods which would provide approximately similar amount either of carbohydrate, protein or fat. Like cereals will provide us carbohydrate. Likewise, we can club the fat foods into fat exchange under the fat category, whether it is oil, whether it is ghee, whether it is butter. We can club them together to form one exchange. So what we are doing under the energy giving food groups, what we have done, we have clubbed all foods based on whether they are providing carbohydrates or fats, which are the basic nutrient or the body fuel. So under the energy giving food groups, we tend to categorize different foods. The first is the cereal and millet. As you've already seen, rice, wheat, jowar, corn, rice, flakes, all these are items within the cereal exchange or cereal category. And you know by now that cereals, they provide mainly carbohydrate. In addition to carbohydrate, they may contain protein, fiber, minerals like calcium, iron, and the B complex vitamins. So what do we do? If you look at one serving size of 30 grams, roughly any of these cereals will 30 gram as one exchange, one portion will give you about 20 grams of carbohydrate. So we are clubbing different foods based on their function and the amount they provide. The other group, category of food within the energy giving group are roots and tubers. We know that potato, sweet potato, tapioca, yam, colocasia, they are all food items within roots and tubers. They provide starch, basically carbohydrates. Along with carbohydrate, they provide small amount of vitamin C, they are rich in fiber and potassium. So what do? We take one serving size as 100 grams and this forms as one exchange. Sugar, jaggery, honey also provide us sugar, or they also provide us carbohydrates. And 5 gram is taken, 1 teaspoon is taken as one serving size. And under this group, we also have the fats and oils because they provide us energy, and vegetable oil, ghee, butter, they all are items within the fat and oil exchange. Along with energy, they provide fat soluble vitamins and essential fatty acids. And here we take as one serving size as 5 ml or 1 teaspoon of oil. So like this, we have grouped the energy giving food groups as one entity and we have included the different foods. So if we are talking about foods which we need to give energy, we will consider these foods. Let's move on to the second. We have just, what you are seeing now is just the recapitulation of what you have just seen. So when we take one sugar exchange of 5 gram, roughly it will provide 20 kilocalories. How? Because you know that 1 gram of carbohydrate gives 4 calories. Therefore, one serving size of 5 gram, 1 teaspoon will give us 20 kilocalories. Likewise, for fats, 1 gram of fat gives 9 kilocalories. Therefore, one serving size of 1 teaspoon will give us 45 kilocalories. So, for us, the understanding of energy giving food groups, the food category and the food items becomes clear. Let's move on to the bodybuilding food groups. Now, within this food group, you know the main nutrient provided is protein. Protein helps the body grow. Therefore, what do? We tend to group different food categories under this food group. Milk and milk products we know are rich in protein. They also provide calcium, vitamin A, riboflavin, and we take one serving size as 100 ml. Pulses, all dals you will see in a while, they all provide us protein, some B complex and also fiber, and we take one serving size as 30 gram. So maybe one katori of cooked dal would be one exchange. Eggs, one egg 50 gram we take as one serving size. Along with proteins, they also provide us B complex vitamins, iron, iodine, some amount of fat, and the flesh food, fish, meat, poultry, they also provide us, in addition to protein, some B complex vitamins, iron, iodine and fat. And of course, nuts and oilseeds are concentrated sources of both protein and energy. Therefore, you should get an idea of different kind of foods which get included in this category and which one to choose. Well, the serving size we have said is 30 grams. So any pulse, any dal, whether it is a chana dal, moong dal, arhar, any dal available in the country, whether it is rajma, peas, moth beans, black green, whole dals, they all get clubbed under the pulse exchange, where 30 grams will provide roughly about 7 grams, 8 grams of protein. We put them all together. Of course, the total number of servings will vary with age and body size. For example, a child 3-year-old may need only one serving, whereas an adolescent 13 years may need 2 serving, or an adult may need more. So, understanding the serving size, one serving size, accordingly we can increase the portions depending on their requirement. Milk, when you look at milk, we use milk as such for drinking, or milk products like curd, cottage cheese, buttermilk, or preparations like kheer, basundi, they are prepared from milk. And you would realize that the amount of milk used with these preparations may differ. For example, in tea you may use 15 to 20 ml, in coffee a little more. Buttermilk may contain only 40 to 50 ml of milk, whereas if you were to prepare kheer or basundi, you may need 1 liter or 2 liter of milk, which is concentrated to form the product. And interestingly, the cottage cheese or the paneer which we use at home, about 250 ml of milk will only give you 50 grams of paneer. Therefore, the idea, the concept of amount needs to be understood, and we take one exchange as 100 ml. So, accordingly, we will the suggested servings will differ again based on age. The children may need more milk exchange as compared to the adult. So, likewise, we work on these exchanges. The last group is the protective regulatory food groups, and we know that they provide mineral and vitamins, and important food items within this food category are fruits and vegetables. All yellow and orange fruits, mango, papaya, citrus fruits, lemon, lime, oranges, all other fruits, apple, plum, banana, they all get included in this category. Vegetables again can be under 3 categories. They can be green leafy vegetables, they can be yellow and orange vegetables, or they can be the other vegetables. For example, ladyfinger, brinjal, cauliflower, they get categorized under other vegetables. So, with these vast variety, we have included them. So, what do? We again convert them in terms of one serving size. So, any green leafy vegetable we will take 100 gram as one serving size. Other vegetables 100 or 100 to 150 grams, and fruits we take 100 gram as one serving size. But you would notice there are variations within the group. Look at the green leafy vegetables. In the market, they are sold as bunch. One bunch would be roughly about 300 to 500 grams. When we get this vegetable, when we buy them, at home we sort them to remove damaged leaves, tough stems, thus the edible portion is reduced. For example, good quality spinach, the edible portion may be 90 to 95%. So 4 to 5 servings from a bunch we can get. Whereas if you look at the other leafy vegetables like fenugreek, methi, what we have, the stem may be more, the leaves are small, so the edible portion may be only 70%. So this knowledge you must have when you are talking about one serving of 100 grams, how much to include within that. Similarly for fruits and vegetables, your yellow, orange fruit vegetables, the edible portion is estimated after deducting the weight of skin, seeds which may be present. So many a times the edible portion may vary from 70 to 75% only, whereas for other vegetables, say the ladyfinger, brinjal, capsicum, beans, beetroot, which we eat whole as such. So the edible portion in these may be high, about 95 to 98%. Compare this with peas. Peas, we know the edible portion is only 50% after removing the pod. So when we are talking about one serving size, you need to consider these aspects. Banana, the edible portion varies from 65 to 75%. Therefore, one serving size, when we say 100 for other fruits, for banana it may only be about 40 grams. Similarly for mango, it may be only 60 grams. So understanding this aspect will help us in using the food groups in planning balanced diets. Apple, grapes, these 95% is the edible portion. So likewise, you have the citrus fruits. Some citrus fruits like amla have rich sources, whereas you have other rich sources also like guava, cabbage, drumsticks, both leaves and pods. They are all excellent sources of vitamin C. Orange, lemon, lime. So in case of amla, maybe one amla or guava, 15 grams of guava can supply half the vitamin C requirement. But normally when we take as 100 gram portion as one serving size, one katori or cup is one serving. So understand these concepts and it will be easy for you to select the different foods. So to help you understand this whole concept, what we have done, we have the food categories for each of the different food groups. For example, the cereal, roots and tubers, fats and oil, they come under energy giving food groups. And you know that suppose we need to plan a balanced diet for an adult male or a female, and we know that their requirements vary based on the type of work they do, sedentary, moderate, heavy. Sedentary, say example of a sedentary woman. The sedentary women may only require 1600 plus calories, whereas a moderately active woman may require about 2100 calories and a heavy worker may require about 2700 calories. So to be able to meet these requirements, we know which foods to include. We would include cereals because they provide carbohydrates which provide us energy. So as you can see, one portion is 30. So when we are talking about including a balanced diet, we would include say 7 portions of cereals in the diet for a woman who is sedentary. The portions will go up for a moderate and even higher for a heavy. Likewise, look at the fat and oils. Sedentary women may need only 3 portions, 3 into 5, maybe 15 grams of fat and oil, visible fat and oil. When she is a moderate worker, the amounts grow up. Like this, for each food group, the different food exchanges can be worked out. With the knowledge of single serving size, we can increase the portions so as to meet the needs of that individual. So this is how it helps us in planning a balanced diet. Here is a balanced diet in terms of the amount of food, different variety of foods that an individual, a sedentary man would need. For cereals, 30 is one serving size, so 9 portions makes it 270 grams of cereals. If you look at the fats and oils on the top, 5 gram is one serving, so we include about 5 servings, meaning 25 grams. Likewise, vegetables and fruits from the third category and milk and pulses from the bodybuilding category. Like this, we can use the daily food guide in planning balanced diets. Another example we've given is for adult women. See how the amounts vary. In case of men, sedentary men, we had 9 portions of cereals. Here they have come down to 7. Similarly, the fat intake, there we had about 5 portions, here only 3 portions. Of course, the milk, pulses, the requirement would remain almost the same, but the pulses may be a little less, but vegetable and fruits, the requirement for male and women would be almost the same. So like this, using the daily food guide, the 3 food group classification, you can decide on the portion sizes to include so as to provide a balanced diet. What is the basis for developing this daily food guide? There are various factors. You see, food is available throughout the country and the availability may vary. One kind of food may be available in one region, in another region, another kind. So, to provide for this availability, this kind of a daily food guide helps, because you can pick up whichever food is available in that region. The meal patterns differ. They can be, the meal patterns can be vegetarian, non-vegetarian, depending on the work. The nutrient needs vary, therefore the portion sizes will vary. And sometimes in certain regions, we need to emphasize some foods because of the prevailing deficiency. So this kind of a daily food guide, if we develop it, it helps. And that is how we use the daily food guide in planning balanced diet. What do? Quickly, we select the food from each of the 3 food groups. We choose at least the minimum number of servings as recommended from each of the food groups, so as to meet the needs. Make choices from each group. You have many foods clubbed together, and you know that not each food is not identical in food value, but they are grouped together. So pick up the foods which based on your likes. Try to include at least one food from the bodybuilding food. Use lot of vegetables, fruits which are in season to ensure high quality at reasonable cost. Therefore, we hope your understanding of daily food guide and balanced diet is clear, and how you can use this daily food guide to plan balanced diet. Thank you.